History was made today, not in celebration, but in shock. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has just been hauled before a Global Human Rights Tribunal, and what happened inside that courtroom left even his fiercest critics speechless. Accusations of systemic abuses, silencing of dissent, and international treaties ignored, and it's all unraveling before the world's eyes. How did it come to this? And what does it mean for South Africa's future? Stay locked in, what we're about to reveal is bigger than anyone expected. You're watching SA Unfiltered, your source for real talk, raw truth, and breaking news that the mainstream won't touch. Smash that like button, subscribe if you want more real updates, and let's dive into today's explosive story. President Cyril Ramaphosa is officially under international scrutiny, not for politics, not for economics, but for alleged human rights violations that international watchdogs say can no longer be swept under the rug. In a historic move, the Global Human Rights Tribunal summoned Ramaphosa to answer for multiple allegations. 1. Failure to address racial violence and land attacks. 2. Suppression of protest movements and free speech. 3. Alleged complicity in xenophobic policy neglect. 4. Turning a blind eye to systemic corruption affecting basic human rights. The world is watching South Africa, and it's horrified. Those were the chilling words from Tribunal Chair, Justice Elena Voskovic, who did not hold back during the opening remarks. It didn't happen overnight. Human rights groups have been sounding the alarm for years, citing farm murders and selective law enforcement, targeted harassment of journalists and opposition leaders, increasing abuse of power in state institutions, the mishandling of the refugee crisis and the neglect of asylum seekers. But the final straw came after recent leaked documents showed alleged state surveillance of whistleblowers, violating international protocols signed by South Africa. Sources inside the courtroom described the atmosphere as tense, almost surreal. Ramaphosa, appearing composed yet clearly under pressure, was confronted with over 300 pages of documented evidence. One moment stunned the room. A former South African police official turned whistleblower testified that orders to suppress anti-government protests came from the highest office. Ramaphosa's legal team dismissed the claims as political theater, but the tribunal pushed back hard. Human rights are not optional. They are not political games. They are binding moral and legal commitments. From New York to Nairobi, human rights activists are flooding the internet with hashtags like #JusticeForSA and #HoldRamaphosa accountable. The United Nations Human Rights Council has issued a formal statement of concern, and several European leaders have expressed support for the tribunal's actions. Back home, opposition leaders like Julius Malema and Helen Zille have seized the moment, though with very different tones. Malema called it karma for ignoring the cries of the oppressed, while Zille warned, this will stain South Africa's global image for decades. The tribunal is expected to continue hearings for the next 10 days, after which recommendations, ranging from sanctions to international arrest warrants, could be issued if Ramaphosa is found in breach of international human rights conventions. Legal experts say the president could face personal accountability, not just political fallout. He could be banned from global forums, his assets frozen in certain countries, and worse, South Africa could face economic isolation. This is more than a trial of one man, it's a moment of reckoning for an entire nation. For too long, cries of injustice have echoed unanswered. Now, the world is demanding action. Will Ramaphosa survive this storm? Or will this be the moment history remembers as the beginning of the end of his presidency? We'll be following this story every step of the way. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this tribunal is justified? Is Ramaphosa being held accountable, or is he a scapegoat for deeper issues? Like this video if you believe human rights should never be ignored. Subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss the next explosive update. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay informed, stay loud, and never be silenced.